Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The National Aeronautics and Space Administration was created in the summer of 1958 by President Dwight D. Eisenhower. NASA started to acquire land on Merritt Island along the central east coast of Florida, and by the early 60s, the Kennedy Space Center we know today began to take shape. Years of dedication and hard work by the NASA team paid off on the morning of November 9, 1967. That's when the 363-foot-tall Saturn V lifted off on a test flight with no crew. The mission was dubbed Apollo 4 and became the first rocket to lift off from the Florida spaceport, from the brand new Launch Complex 39.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
Apollo 4 increased public confidence in the young space program, and less than 2 years later, the crew of Apollo 11 achieved President John F. Kennedy's goal, landing on the moon July 20th, 1969. 5 more missions landed by the end of 1972. The history of America's space program comes alive at the Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. Millions have descended on this property to learn about the inner workings of NASA since 1963. That's when visitors took self-guided tours of Cape Canaveral Air Force Station in their cars on Sunday afternoons. This small trailer served as the first visitor information center, complete with simple displays on card tables. By the end of 1967, a full-scale visitor center covering just over 40 acres had hosted around 500,000 of the space curious. To keep up with other Central Florida attractions like Disney, the KSC Visitor Complex continued to expand over the decades, adding new immersive exhibits and theme park quality attractions. Today, it consistently ranks as one of the top 10 best museums in the U.S. But this place is so much more than just a museum, something you quickly learn when you enter these gates. To get the most out of your experience, it's worth approaching Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex as you would a theme park, by investing a little time and some planning. Like any of the area's major attractions, knowing before you go will help you have a more enjoyable time, especially if you're traveling with several people. Coming up next, tips for getting the most out of your day at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex. As repeat annual pass holders, we have spent a lot of time at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex over the years. We know what it's like to have a small window and try to fit in as much as possible. Here are our 10 tips for getting the most out of your day at KSC. It should probably go without saying in the 21st century that it's best to purchase your tickets in advance online. Anytime you can skip the lines to purchase tickets is a good way to start the day in my book. Ticket prices are the same whether purchased online or in person, and are date-specific and not transferable between days. Printing your tickets at home will save you lots of time, allowing you to go directly to the turnstiles. Otherwise, you'll be required to pick up your tickets at will call, which might have a line. Like I mentioned earlier, we have an Atlantis annual pass, very affordable for a full year of unlimited admission to an attraction of this caliber. Perks included like free parking and discounts on food, beverage, and retail purchases make this an attractive option, especially if you're local and will go back a time or two within the year. Multi-day admission is also available. Like the annual pass, it allows for unlimited daily admission to the complex for a full year. But there are fewer perks offered with this option. If it's your first time visiting KSC or it's been a long time, plan to spend the entire day on property. There are a lot of exhibits here that sometimes take an hour or more to fully experience. Beginning June 14, 2021, operating hours at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Sunday. It's always wise to check the website before you go to any attraction to make sure the hours haven't changed for some reason. If possible, visit on a weekday when crowd levels are normally lower and try your best to arrive early. Parking lots open at 8:30, a half hour before the main gate. It's a short walk from the lot to the main entrance. The parking lot can accommodate motorcycles, automobiles, and oversized vehicles such as RVs. Parking for visitors with disabilities is available in Lot 2 with a valid parking permit. The rate for automobiles is $10. Annual pass holders receive free parking with a valid pass. Multi-day ticket holders also receive one complimentary parking voucher. We always recommend visiting KSC during the off-season, the months of January and February, and September through late November. Crowds are thinner and the weather is usually a little more bearable. Summers can be really busy with lots of families. You will have to contend with Florida's infamous heat and humidity, as well as afternoon showers and thunderstorms. Don't worry if summer is the only time when you can visit. There's lots of indoor exhibits where you can cool off in the AC or wait out the rain. Just like the theme parks, Kennedy Space Center has an app you can download to your phone that can help in planning your day. You'll find maps of the property, detailed information on each attraction, the best places to shop and dine, and up-to-date information on special events, including any rocket launches that might be happening during your visit. You can also keep a list of your favorite attractions, shows, and tours so you stay on track and don't miss anything. Once you go through the turnstile and walk inside the complex, find this QR code and schedule a bus tour, included with daily admission. The bus tour is the only way to gain access to NASA's restricted areas, with sites both rooted in history and instrumental in the future of space exploration. The highly impressive Apollo Saturn V Center can only be experienced by reserving transportation on Visitor Complex buses. As of 2021, a limited number of reservations are available on a first-come, first-served basis, so it's important to book your spot as soon as you enter the complex. Departure times are available every half hour until 2 hours prior to closing. Reservations can only be made while at the visitor complex, starting at 9 a.m. daily. Advance reservations are not available. One thing to note, a bus tour will eat up a large chunk of your day, so plan accordingly. But with all the behind-the-scenes information shared by your guide and the drive-bys of so many well-known NASA landmarks, like the Mammoth Vehicle Assembly Building, they're so worth it. After getting your bus tour reservation all squared away, you'll likely have some time to explore the attractions at the main complex. One of the newest and most popular is the Space Shuttle Atlantis exhibit. Located in the back of the complex, we recommend visiting Atlantis early in the day to avoid afternoon crowds. The exhibit is next door to the bus loop, and let me tell you, this area can get hectic when large numbers of riders are dropped off here following their tour of the Apollo Saturn V Center. And many of those folks, you guessed it, they end up making a beeline for Atlantis. By no means should this experience ever be skipped, just make time for it earlier in the day. most photographed attraction at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex is the one that forms the property's unique skyline. Visitors are able to walk among giants of America's space program in the famous Rocket Garden, which has grown exponentially over the years. The newest addition is this 128-foot Delta II rocket from United Launch Alliance. With its unique color scheme, it truly is a sight to behold. The Delta II is the first modern-era vehicle to join the Rocket Garden's collection from the Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo programs. Throughout the day, 15-minute tours of the Rocket Garden are provided by knowledgeable guides who use the rockets to highlight key historic moments in America's exploration of space. A free walking tour is also available inside Atlantis on the 3rd floor. Times are posted on the daily schedule. Both the Rocket Garden Tour and the Atlantis Tour are free. As of this video's production in the summer of 21, dining options at Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex are limited. The largest open restaurant on property is the Orbit Cafe, which features burgers and fries, salads, sandwiches, Little Caesars pizza, and desserts. They're now also open for breakfast. By theme park standards, food here is decent quality and will do the trick when you and your family are starving after a morning of exploration. But from noon through restaurant close, Orbit Cafe can become unbearably crowded during peak times of the year. Sometimes the line stretches well outside the door. And because there's no mobile ordering here, you will be waiting a while. The earlier you decide to eat, the better. KSC is a beautiful, always evolving facility. Unfortunately, most of the common outdoor areas are mostly concrete, with little to no shade. It doesn't take long for the intense heat to kick in on a warm Florida day. Bring whatever you need to stay comfortable: sunscreen, sunglasses, refillable water bottles, small soft-sided coolers, all good ideas for a long day. With the heat and humidity often comes afternoon thunderstorms. If you hear the visitor complex call a Phase 2, it means lightning is present or imminent in the immediate area. Cloud-to-ground lightning is a common occurrence during warmer months. All visitors at the complex will be asked to seek shelter or remain indoors until the storm passes. As I said earlier, many of the exhibits are inside large air-conditioned buildings that will help you pass the time during inclement weather. If you have little ones, try to be near the IMAX building. It not only offers incredible space-themed films, but the building is also home to the new Planet Play interactive play area. Designed for a younger generation of space explorers ages 2 through 12, kids can spend hours having fun in this multiple-story play experience. And parents, you're not left out here. There's a lounge with coffee as well as a wine and beer bar. If you leave your poncho or anything else back at the hotel room, the world's largest space shop has you covered. This recently redesigned store goes far beyond your average theme park souvenir shop. At over 15,000 square feet, the space shop features interactive shopping experiences and the largest selection of NASA-themed merchandise you'll find anywhere. On the second floor, there's even an original Apollo 11 gantry you can walk across. If you're a die-hard space enthusiast or just a casual observer, witnessing a live rocket launch should be on your bucket list. And it's easy to do if your timing's right when you visit Kennedy Space Center. The visitor complex provides the most up-close public viewing of rocket launches with live launch commentary from space experts. Launch viewing at the main visitor complex is always included with daily admission if the launch takes place during operating hours. The viewing area is located outside the Atlantis building, 7 miles away from the rocket launch area. Remember, all launch times and dates are subject to change without notice. Do not plan your entire trip around launch dates because delays come with the territory and the space business. Stay updated on the latest information about launch viewing opportunities by following Explore Space KSC on Twitter and Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex on Facebook. That's it. That's our list. Hope you found the information helpful. From Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex, see you next time.